Well, hello everybody. Thanks for watching. Today's topic, album haul. Used vinyl, what I got, and my take on what I picked up at Lovell's, never know how to pronounce it, but one of my only two record shops that I'm loyal to, Lovell's Records out in Whittier. And my other record shop, Pooh Records out in Pasadena. Good old Pooh from back in the old days. Okay, anyway, this is a little bit of a, what I might call it, a southern rock theme of the albums I picked up. Here we go, let's start. Used vinyl. First one up, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, CSNY, live. What's it called? Four-Way Street. Okay, I've never really heard them live. I like them. I like a few of their songs, so I jumped all over this album when I saw it. Gatefold album. Here you go. Recorded at various spots. Recorded at the Fillmore East and the Fabulous Forum, LA Forum, right here in LA back in 1970. 2 album set. Album number 1 you can more or less call acoustic, and album number 2 you can more or less think of it as the Electric Jam LP. The acoustic LP one, you can have it, okay? It's fine, but I'm not a huge fan of the CSN stuff, you know, Crosby and Nash singing in harmony, and a lot of people love it. That's your cup of tea. Hey, welcome to it. But as far as I'm concerned, the action is all in album number 2, where Neil Young and Stephen Stills turn on the indulgent guitar jams. Stephen Stills and Neil Young just go off on 10 and 12 minute dueling jam sessions. Just incredible long versions of these songs, and it sounds great on the stereo. The production value, fantastic. The stereo separation, you got Neil Young over here and you got Stephen Stills jamming over here, and they're coming out of the 2 separate speakers. Very, very nice. Love this album. Great pickup. Okay, moving on to the next album. This was actually a mistake. Gregg Allman Laid Back. For some reason, I saw the word Allman. I'm a huge Allman Brothers fan and a huge Duane Allman fan. Well, for some reason, I saw the word Allman and I thought Duane Allman. I didn't think Gregg Allman. But that's not a bad thing, because this album, Laid Back, is still a really great LP. It's Gregg Allman's first solo LP after the tragic death of his brother. Here's the bad thing about this one. It's not a bad thing about the album, but it's a bad thing about this particular LP. I bought it and it's got a warp. Didn't notice it. I guess the record store didn't notice it. They put it out for sale, and it's got a warp that ruins the first song on both sides. Why is that such a bad thing? Well, yeah, besides the obvious, there is an alternate take on, what is it? It's an alternate take on Midnight Rider on here, which is the first song on the side, and so I can't even hear it. And in my reading about the album, that people rave about that alternate cut of Midnight Rider. So I got burned. So now this album is back on my must seek and must replace, must upgrade. But here's the other thing about it that I want this album in my collection. Reading the album notes and so on, this is the first album, this is the introduction of Mr. Chuck Lovell, who many of you may know is the longtime piano player for the Rolling Stones. among numerous other bands. I mean, Chuck Lovell has played for like tons of bands that you've heard and that you didn't even know was him on the album, all the way up until contemporary people now today recording. So Chuck Lovell being introduced. This album is really high up on piano and organ, not so much on electric guitar. But otherwise, yeah, a must-have for my collection, because I want that alternate Midnight Rider, and I want the other songs on here that are pretty good, and I want the Baptism of Chuck Lovell. So I have to replace this album. Got to find a replacement. Finally, the third album I picked up. This is Duane Allman Anthology 2. Now, I picked up Anthology 1, and as an Allman brother, Duane Allman collector, if I have Anthology Part 1, I gotta have Anthology Part 2, right? Well, here it is. I came upon it. Anthology Part 1, if you're only gonna get one of those anthology albums, get Part 1. That's by far the superior of the two, Part 1 or 2. What are we getting on this? Duane Allman played guitar in the studio for a lot of other bands and singers on different cuts that, again, you may not even know it was Duane Allman. He's got some really great songs on here where he's working with some old soul music artists, and those songs are very good. He's with Aretha on here. He's with Aretha and some others on that other Part 1 anthology. He's playing with Aretha here, and oops. What else very quickly? He's playing with Aretha here. King Curtis is a very good cut. What else do I want to... I'm trying to look very quickly. I didn't have them lined up for you. Push Push with Herbie Mann is really, really a good cut. Kind of percussion, heavy percussion. That's a great song. He's got Wilson Pickett that he's playing with on here. Side 4 is Allman Brothers Band, some alternate live that you might be familiar with the songs from Allman Brothers at the Fillmore East. These are some alternate live cuts of Done Somebody Wrong, Leave My Blues at Home, Midnight Rider, again, Midnight Rider, Dimples. So these are some other live cuts with Allman Brothers that are pretty good. A little bit different style than what we hear on the Fillmore East. So again, if you're an Allman collector, you might want those because you just want those different sounds of the Allman Brothers lives. All right. Get me started talking about vinyl, man, and I don't stop. I'm running into 10 minutes. So I'm going to cut it off. And thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Peace.